All right. So this is my 2020 4th of July show. This is the 200 gram board number one. And what you're looking at here is the Excel program, a printout of the Excel program that I use to kind of build out the script. And what I've got here is the list of all of the names of the fireworks. These little block offs here, those show pieces that are firing together or overlapping each other. So we also have the time, the duration of the firework, and then the combined duration. Like here you see Noisy and Medal of Honor by Firehawk. Those are 15 and 16 seconds long. Total duration of those two is 16 seconds. So, and then have a pause built in there, and you can see the full the garage mechanic pack here is 22, 20, and 17. Total is 20. And having these times helps me with the calculations of the fuse. For example, over here I have my fuse calculator, and I got the color, which is the green, which is cannon fuse, the slow burning one, and then medium cake fuse. The speed that I got for the cannon fuse is 25.5 seconds a feet, and then for the medium cake is 17 seconds per foot. And I don't have enough length of the cannon fuse, but I got plenty of the medium cake, so I'm going to use up the 20 feet I have. In fact, the total amount that I'm going to be using is 18.78, and then the last part of it I'm going to switch over to the medium cake fuse. And what that means is just the length of fuse. You can see it's going to have to be longer for 30 seconds here from Happy Camper. You can see that's 14.59, 14 and a half, a little over inches fuse for that. Then when it goes over here to Bavarian Borvana and Pigs and Roses, 20 seconds is also 14 inches. So pretty close to the length. However, it's 10 seconds apart over here. Alright, so this is going to help me when I put the board together. I got Bullet Storm, Voyager, Opportunity, ISS, Hubble, in honor of. Then we got Noisy and Medal of Honor going off together. Ultimate Warrior, Think Twice, Hot Dog, Bling Bling, Supersonic, Boiling Point, the Mechanic Pack, all going off together. And then I'll finish off this board with some cheap artillery balls, and those little small canisters here. That's kind of how I have it placed. And then there's going to be a second board. That's going to start right here. This is the second board. First board, second board. And in total, this is going to be almost 9 minutes long, which is decent. So here's the second board, larger cakes, and there's going to be more going off together. You can see here I just got a few going off by themselves, and then more and more go off together. Kind of builds it up, and then I'll probably finish it off with a homemade NOAB or something. So we'll see how much space or real estate. I might just take some tubes and drill them onto the board like this. And I intend to have each board separately, so I just need to light it, and then 5 minutes or 4 minutes goes by, and then I'll light the second one. Last year I had the show from start to finish fused all together, which was nearly like 40 minutes or something like that, and it was nice. But the pacing, if I, having that manual step in there of lighting it could kind of adjust the pacing a bit. And there's some points where it needed to slow down or it needed a pause. So, so that's what I plan on doing here with these boards, is kind of separating them too, so I could get that pacing where it needed to go. And lighting fireworks is fun. Not gonna lie, having to just sit back and let the fuse do all the work. It's neat, but it's not as fun as lighting off a bunch of fireworks. So there's a medium ground in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so I've gone through and I've measured out and marked the fuse. So this is for the first board here on the fuse. Mechanic pack. So this is going to be the start is on the other side here. And what I've done is I've gone through and gave it little marks. I'm going to have to fix that one. Make it all the way around. So that's a 2-second fuse light point that I have. I could always tie in a longer fuse if I need to, but the first one is going to start right there, and then going down a little bit longer. There's the second one right there. So this is where the next cake is going to tie into. That's going to be Voyager, and then the next one is going to be Opportunity. Now I put this tape here because there's a crease in the fuse and I don't want to stress it too much, so I put the tape there. It's kind of like a brace, and then at each marking point here it's going to be where the next cake ties into. Now I do prefer using Connect X. Grab those. Okay, I do prefer using the Connect X here. This is a Sky Bacon brand. There's a lot of different ones out there, of course. So this has got, fortunately this one's only got 10 connections. You can see I have a lot more than 10 cakes. So instead of spending $6 for 10 cake connections, what I'm going to be doing instead is when I tie into the fuses, I'm just going to get that black part there as close to that fuse point on there as possible. So like the fuse is going to tie into this, like on this side, and they're going to ignite, and then when where that fuse enters the tube, it's going to be around where that black part is. Also got the second pallet ready. Move over here a little. Alright, so this is the second pallet, and what I've done here is I got the mix between the safety fuse, which is a 2mm. It's very small, but it has a burn time of 25 seconds, to the medium cake fuse, which is 3mm, and you see this massive. I mean, obviously it looks like 4mm, honestly, or 5. It's massive, but it's got a slower, a faster burn to it, and then so I've just kind of tied it in to make one continuous chain. And what I'm going to be doing, where I have multiple cakes lighting off at the same time, I'm just going to tie them together, like tape them up, get the fuses linked together. Now that I got my fuses ready to go, I can start the fun part of actually prepping up the cakes. What I'll do first is I'll place the cakes around there, get measurements, kind of run the fuse around and make sure I got the cakes at the right spot. I'll go ahead and mark around the cake. Alright, so this is the little fuse work I did on the filler up mechanic pack. Garage Girl filler up, full service, I have the seconds here: 22 seconds, 20 seconds, 17 seconds. And I put in this artillery fuse, fast artillery fuse, to kind of help get these to where they end at the same time. So obviously this one's going to go up first, 2 seconds later from here to here. That black line, that's 2 seconds. And then this one's going to start going off. Then 3 seconds later, this is going to burn. And then at that black line, which is the tip right there, this will go off at 3 seconds. This is Medal of Honor and Noisy shooting off together. They've got complementary effects. One's crackle, and the other one is 16 shot red and blue peony with silver glittering stars. So definitely two effects that complement each other. But what I've done here is I've trimmed the paper wrapping down to the base where the fuse enters the tube. I did that on both sides. Originally it stopped right here, and there's a second layer of paper or cardboard that I had to cut through. It's really important when you're timing a fuse in a show like this, or in any kind of way with an ignition light, that you want to get that quick fuse or whatever fuse down to the base. So this stuff burns pretty slow. Millisecond, second off is a big deal when you're timing a show. Now fortunately this isn't, these are two little pieces and 200 gram board. All right, so kind of got ahead of myself here. I started fusing these up, and I was like, no, you gotta slow down. Should be gluing these to the board first. So that's what I've done. Went ahead and started cutting up the tops. The bottoms. Starting cutting off the bottoms, so I could get some liquid nails. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some liquid nails in all this. When you put liquid nails down, get the tube. Don't get the center where the clay plug is. Get around the edge of the tube here. This is the final product. This is essentially ready to be fired. However, it's only March 15th, so still a little ways until 4th of July. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start it off with Bullet Storm. It's going to run. We've got a 40-second fuse here. Voyager, Opportunity, ISS, Hubble, in honor of. And then it's going to hit both of these together. Noisy and Medal of Honor. And then it's going to burn. I'll put an extra second, 2 seconds here. Just kind of add a pause after this. It's going to be Ultimate Warrior, Think Twice, Hot Dog, Bling Bling. And then it's going to fuse, wrap around here, hit up Supersonic. Fuse goes around, Boiling Point. Fuse continues, then it hits up Full Service, Filler Up, and Garage Girl. And I got the fuse all timed out separately over here, just like in a bigger cake, what they would have, just not as pretty. Alright, then while that's going off, the fuse is going to carry up here. Then towards the end, or at the end of this, then we're going to light off some artillery. This is Premium Artillery, Whistling Jakes, and then it goes here. These are canister and ball shells, which are actually a smaller diameter. Alright, then next up is going to be, I'll be moving on to the second board, which I have the cake and the fuse already pre'd out. Here's the fusing work I did. I've already gone over and cut the bottoms and liquid nail glued them to the board here, and I've just finished the fusing. I just simply hooked the fuse around the fuse chain. I've been have successful success in doing this, and I just taped it. So you can see here it just runs. And this is not the final product. I will be taping down the fuse and to protect it. See here, I fused these two together. Went ahead to use quick fuse to get that lit as fast as possible from the chain fuse. And then again here, I fused these two together and used quick fuse to get that fuse jumped over as quick as possible. Then here I did some handiwork. I actually have 3 fuses here. I got the chain fuse, I have the main fuse for the cake, and then a secondary chain fuse for the finale. So This chain fuse is 13 seconds. So we got about 33. Hold on. 14 seconds. So this fuse is 14 seconds. And as this goes off, 14 seconds, then these are going to start going off. And I even have these fused inside here where 2 will go off first, and then 2 seconds later the last 2 will go off. Hope for the best on that. All the while that's all going, this is all going off, this chain fuse back here is going to be on the board, and the fuse is going to go. And then by the time this is done, the idea is this quick fuse is going to run through and light these artillery shots. It's going to be a pretty good show, nice little neighborhood show. Then I got all my artilleries.